All right, Nick Bahe Podcast, powered by Pella Windows and Doors, PellaOmaha.com. Check out the showrooms, Omaha and Lincoln. They've done work on my home. You've seen the commercials. Hopefully by now you've seen the commercials. They're fantastic. It's just, I love being synonymous with the good folks at Pella. We need to get you a new mic. We need to get Pella Windows.
We're
Pella,
good.
Pella Windows and microphones.
Pella quality.
Yeah.
We need Pella quality microphones.
That's right.
We don't
That's
have it quite yet.
PellaOmaha.com. PellaOmaha.com. All right, he's Bo Ruud. I'm Nick Bahe. It is, we're taping this. It's a little after 10 a.m. Wednesday, October 8th. Nebraska is 4-1, and they're getting ready to go to Maryland. By the way, did you see Rule said they're leaving like a day early? They're leaving
with
day
East
early.
Coast? Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be.
Is that good?
I think so. I think when you travel that far and you're changing time zones, I think you err on the side of get settled.
Yes. Well, and what's amazing is how they travel with, like, Rule is saying they bring their own food, their own chefs, their own, like, all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You don't leave anything to chance. I agree. Like, you don't, it's like teams can do stuff. Like, you could be like, give them real bad food. You could do that if you wanted to. Like, give them the dog food.
Well,
like,
I mean, I don't know how it was. I mean, traveling with Creighton back in the day in the Valley. I mean, Coach Altman was like, Coach Altman never got out of like the junior college mindset where it was like, we didn't get buses, we got like vans, we like ate, so it was like he always was like balling on a budget. But at KU, we had like first flight, we had cheese in the shape of a Jayhawk on our jet, and I was just like, thank you.
Where am I?
Is this the same cheese in a Lunchable?
Do you have any Lunchables to go with this Jayhawk
This cheese. Is it the same Cheese Whiz cheese? It is not. Okay. Nice cheese conversation here. But you can have, if crappy food makes a difference on the road, you just don't know what you're eating. So whatever.
I think it's just trying to be like, these guys, I don't think it actually makes a difference. You could eat dog food and play great. Like it doesn't make that much of a difference. I think in their mind is, if you control everything, at least that's not an excuse.
Sure.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Agree. Okay. On the menu today, we have the chef's
cheese? Is it cheese?
We got steamed club. We're going to see who's in the club this week. I have the 7 biggest storylines. I got like what we're 5 games in. What has kind of like presented itself? Then we'll get into our thoughts on what we're going to see in College Park this weekend with Nebraska and Maryland. Let's go to the club real quick, player.
I think
we're finna go to the club real quick.
I think the club has been hopping. People have been talking about the club. People say like everyone's trying to get in the club again. And it's a hot commodity right now.
On the low, there's been some like more movement. You would think, like, I wonder what it would be like. Let's say we did the club for Ohio State. Like, I wonder how much week to week movement there is for like a top team. There's been more in and out
for us
for Nebraska.
For our club this year, I think this has been our most varied club.
I think so too.
I just feel like we had it was like Ty and it was
Nash
Ty,
Polar Bear,
and
Dylan,
Butler,
and now it's changed a little bit. So last week, Dylan Raiola was in the club, Barney in the club, Lyndon Meyer with the entire Scarlet Dance team was in the club, Key and Emmett Johnson.
Okay.
At the Gourmet Grill, we had Deshaun McCullough. In an Uber, we had Sierra Wright, Winery, Singleton, and Hunter. And we still had an O-line at the O-line in the stinky Uber because they had just given up a bunch of sacks, which, okay. Yeah. All right, you ready for this week?
I am ready.
Okay.
Let's just knock out what we know.
Dylan Raiola is still in the club. Ja'Cory Barney is still in the club. Deshaun Singleton, or you?
So I thought Emmett's still.
Emmett.
I think those three. Let's call those 3.
They're in
for sure.
Because we don't even have to discuss. Like,
we don't have to discuss it. I think everybody else, you have to discuss.
Okay. I moved Singleton from an Uber. I GPS'd it.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you said he was my 5th. Okay. He was my 5th guy into the club. He got in. Like, he showed up, and the bouncer looked. He made a call and said, Singleton, I've never seen you before, but yeah, you're in.
2 interceptions.
2 interceptions. He got in first try. They opened the rope. Singleton's back in VIP.
And you know what he needs more than anything? He needs a new mating grounds.
Yes,
because he lost mating.
We know that we still put him in the club. He's a little, he's trying to get his swagger back a little bit, and but he is in the club. This should help him
he should, yes,
on the mountain.
Yes,
next time.
it's the club mountain.
Yeah, this is going to be good for Singleton.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, go listen to the recap pod. We talked about, because people are going to be like, what are they? What? Go listen to the recap pod. You'll understand what we're getting at. Okay. So Raiola, Barney, Emmett Johnson, Singleton at 5. I had a hard time with 5. I went Hunter.
Okay. My reasoning was that was a huge play, and he had a few big catches.
Agreed.
I felt like he stepped up in that moment, and like I feel like my trust level in him, as like almost like our go-to tough catch receiver and run after the catch receiver.
Well, so he had 4 catches, 93 yards in the touchdown. Lindenmeyer only had 1 catch. Dane Key didn't have a catch. On the low, Dane Key's had a very, very quiet two game stretch here. Like what I'm trying to, I had it written down and it was on a paper upstairs. So Dane Key, the last couple of games, he had 3 catches. I guess he had 3 catches against Michigan, but then 0.
Yeah, he, for whatever reason, he is. I don't
know if people are trying to like.
I think they're taking him away. I think that's one of the things they are taking away. But it's part of the game is it doesn't matter if they're like you got to get open, you got to catch the ball, and they got to obviously target him a little bit more probably. But I think he's just right now. Hunter is playing good ball, and Barney's Barney's taking a lot of the touches too.
100%. I got some tweets and there might have been some YouTube comments about this. We do special exemptions at the club.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mike Eckler honorary club invite to just start a mosh pit?
Oh, I'd be fine with that. Eck is he's such an energy. People they'd welcome into the club.
He would come in, he would drink all Red Bull. He would be all energy drinks.
He was our peerless.
He was the
MVP.
top performer. Yeah, he was the MVP. So he's the 6th honorary club invitee for this week. Or do you want to bump like one of the other guys out?
I think because he's a coach, right?
He's going to come in, start a mosh pit.
Yeah.
He's going to come in. He's going to order a round of Red Bulls for everybody. They're going to play Limp Bizkit, break stuff. He's going to mosh pit it.
I think that would be wonderful.
I would, even though I don't like mosh pits, I like Limp Bizkit break stuff. So I would be there, like
I think that's
on the periphery.
I think having a coach as an honorary club member for the week, just for the 1 week, this is not permanent. Just 1 week. It was a great week with the block.
Okay, so we're good with that.
Yeah.
Gourmet Grill. Lindenmeyer.
I actually had something different. I had a limo waiting right outside the club.
Okay.
And I got 3 people in the limo. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
I got our boy, they call him Dason.
So stupid.
I got Winery.
You love Winery.
And I got Lindenmeyer and all the Scarlets in a stretch limo.
That's a great.
And they're sitting right. So those 3 in a stretch limo.
They're just gonna do a couple of laps and be right
outside the club. They're right there. Those 3 are right there. Singleton and Hunter. Let's be real. Like those guys are. And they got the Scarlets in that limo too. So this is these guys are knocking on the door, right? So they're right there in the limo. I feel like these guys are close. They're close to being club members. So
okay,
it's good to see the defense, like a couple of defenders creeping up that way. So now we got Singleton, we got a couple defenders right at the door. I think Winery's a guy that
he's coming.
It's becoming obvious that he's got the talent. Like you can see the size, the movement, and he's just playing hard. I think that's like he's playing good football. And that's a great sign for us is that this guy is a guy you project him out a year or two and you go, okay, this is real.
Yeah, he was a 5-star, like he looks the part. He moves the part. Like
he moves. He definitely has that, but I like the way he's actually playing the game.
Agreed.
He's playing well.
Okay. I like how I love, because the club has no rules. Like, we've added a limo. We sent, at one point, Lindenmeyer and his fiance were at Applebee's. Like, there are no rules to this thing.
There's no rules.
It could be whatever we want it to be.
It's how it feels in the moment.
Yes. So then Gourmet Grill, Javin Wright and Key.
Yes, that's fair.
Are you good with that?
Give them a sandwich. They're not knocking on the door right now.
Okay, so Gourmet Grill, because we're not giving up. I mean, Javin Wright just had his best game as a Husker.
He moved that.
That's got to get you some chicken strips.
He's never even made the discussion yet.
No,
so this is good.
And Key still is. I mean, he's still a integral part of this team. Are we wildly disrespecting Sear Wright? I think there's some people that would be like, you guys are like he is one of those dudes. Like, no news is good news. You don't hear about him. That means he's like balling out. Do we need? I had him in an Uber. Do we want to move him to the Gourmet Grill? Put
him in the Gourmet Grill? I think that's fair. I think we are disrespecting because he's being targeted so little.
Right.
And that in itself is a victory. So, method actor Sierra Wright rehearsing his lines
to get into what he's going to say to all the women when he gets in the club. Okay. Have you seen Space Jam, the one with LeBron?
Nick, he's always prepared. He's a method actor.
He's ready to do his thing. So then
we sent the O-line home after Michigan. Do you feel like you need to put them back in the Uber? Stinky Uber?
Do we? I mean, Dylan got sacked a lot.
I think we just let him go home. Let's give him a week. Don't even think about the club. You guys need to focus on football.
Just go home, get some sleep.
Shake these last 2 weeks off. Drill into your playbooks. Play some good football. And there's a good chance we could get you back in an Uber. Maybe even the Gourmet Grill. Those guys like to eat.
Okay, we're just sending them home. We're sending the O-line home. I think that's fair.
I think that
I think. I mean, I know Justin Evans had the one play, but like, there's got to be a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
we're so okay. In review, in the club: Dylan Raiola, Barney, Emmett Johnson, Singleton, Hunter, Eckler, honorary club invite to buy a round of Red Bulls and do a mosh pit.
Like it.
In a stretch limo with the entire Scarlet Dance team: Winery, McCullough, Lindenmeyer. Tell you what, I mean, there's a world where it's like, would you rather be in the club or in the limo at this point?
There's a world where that limo is becoming
it's becoming those party buses. Okay. And then Gourmet Grill, Javin Wright, Key, Sear Wright. And then we just sent the O-line home. Yeah. Send the get some rest.
With a message.
Get some rest. Hit the playbook. And do some soul searching.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Okay.
I like it.
I am we are really opening the door for like things like Applebee's, this stretch limo, all that. We are opening the door to ridiculous things. We used to keep it kind of like club, gourmet, Uber. That was it.
The fun part about the club in general is like it lets you play with how are you feeling week to week, because week to week you different things happen on the way to the club.
Eckler, especially, was his birthday, like we talked about. Like, so maybe that was for his birthday present. You know,
yeah.
The DJ was like, "Happy birthday, Mike Eckler! Make some noise!"
Well, and I was reading in the paper today, like our overall special teams numbers. It's 5 games in, so still, it's the sample size is still small, but we're like top 10 in the nation in multiple categories. Like the difference that is making overall is on incredible. Our team, I would argue, it's worth 2 victories so far because we've lost. We lost our one and we won 2 close ones. So like, I would argue those 2 close ones, it made a big difference. So,
okay. You're springboarding right into, I wrote down, I was thinking, okay, what do we want to talk about before we preview the Maryland game? And I kind of thought we're 5 games into this thing. What are some big storylines that have emerged with this team?
Yeah.
And that's very open-ended for a reason, just can kind of be whatever. The first thing I wrote down was the special teams resurgence. Everything you just said is spot on by almost every metric. And again, it's relatively early, but it's, it's real though. Like this has happened so far. They're one of the top special teams units at this point in various metrics. Barney has 13 punt returns for 192 yards. I mean, Nebraska couldn't even dream of returning a punt in years past. Cunanan is 7 of 8 from in field goal kicking. Archie Wilson's been good. He had a couple of shaky punts against Michigan State. I mean, overall he's been good, and it was windy and all that. Had a blocked punt for a touchdown. They blocked a field goal against Akron, right? Right at the end of the half, they blocked a field goal against Akron, and then forced a turnover on the kickoff and recovered it, and then caught an onside kick.
They're playing winning football right now as a special team unit. Like that overall, we've seen the opposite of that for a long time around here. So like, I just think it's gonna keep making a difference, especially in these close games. Turning that field over consistently, that does something too to the mindset. We haven't been backed up near as much as I feel like the Frost era. We were living backed up.
That's such a good point.
You know what I mean? I feel like we lived on inside our 30 or something.
It felt like every drive began inside Nebraska's own 20-yard line.
Yeah.
And especially that was our whole thing with Gabe Ervin. It felt like every one of Gabe Ervin's series began at their own 3-yard line.
And I would actually argue this year we've had such good field position. We should have way more total points put up on the board. Like I would argue we have not done a good enough job of getting the ball in the end zone with how good the field position has been through 5 games. The
red zone offense numbers are not good for Nebraska, but they've also had just a million trips there because their freaking field position's just been amazing.
Yeah.
The whole year. We've watched Nebraska for so many years, and games have come and gone, and they lose, and you say to yourself, like, what would happen if they just had competent special teams and didn't turn the ball over? Well, you're kind of seeing that.
Yeah.
Like the one thing you got to hand Dylan, and we'll talk about him in a little bit, is like he doesn't turn the ball over.
No. He's had 2 or 3 bad interceptions this year, and that's been about it.
Yeah.
Like everything else, he's done a good job of of protecting the ball. Like the offense hasn't been.
It's not been turning it over.
We haven't been fumbling as much as we have in past. So that's where we've done a good job in that route.
Next storyline: sacks given up through 3 games versus power conference teams. Nebraska, Dylan Raiola has been sacked 15. I say 16 because I still count that last sack in that Michigan game. 15, 16 times in 3 games, Bo. Yeah. So against 3 against Cincinnati, Michigan had 8, and then Michigan State had 5.
Yeah.
I don't have any other thing to say other than that. That's a big. I mean, Sam McEwen's rewind that he writes every Monday has kind of a theme and a bunch of numbers. Like his whole thing was like, if the sacks, oversimplifying Sam's column, which is always fun to read, if the sack thing doesn't get better, Nebraska's not going to have the season they want to have. And he's probably not wrong.
Well, and he actually had another article today that mentions not quite that, but something on the same line, which is like, if we don't, we're going to get a lot of these similar looks from defenses, which is what he phrased it was like, they're going to bring pressures and they're going to guard the underneath routes tight.
Yep.
And they're going to basically, what that means is, in my mind is, well, Dylan, you better either throw it over the top or you better run and get away. And we've kind of seen right now, Dylan is not getting away. So I think of it as a strategy from the defense. Like you got to bring the heat and like I say, and you're on those, because Holston wants to run those short mesh routes.
Right.
So if you're going to guard that stuff, it puts a lot of pressure on Dylan to make a play with his feet or with his arm down the field. So that's probably the blueprint for how do you go at Nebraska? You got to bring it to Dylan. That's probably it.
The thing, if you were to, you're game planning against Dylan, you go, what does he not like? He doesn't like, he's not very mobile. He doesn't do great with pressure.
Yeah.
What does he like? What he likes is short to intermediate throws.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now what you just said,
take away that.
We're going to pressure him and we're going to take away the short underneath routes and short intermediate throws. The worst thing to do if you just play zone and rush 3, he is going to destroy you. He's
really he sees the field very well. He's patient. And he waits for his routes. He layers. He's got that.
Finds the windows, and he's really good at that.
The arm angles. I think where we're trying to figure out is what does he do under duress? I mean, obviously, people whether it's blitzing right at in his face is where he's at is worst, right? But just any sort of pressure when the ball has to come out and he's got to go down the field. I feel like that's where it's like sort of most out of his comfort zone.
Agree.
Right now.
So we'll see. I mean, there's been some conversations in various radio shows I've listened to this week on like how much and Rule kind of was asked about this, and so was Holgerson, about just the sacks in general, that it's like it's the whole thing. It's Dylan holding the ball too long, O-line maybe getting beat, wide receivers not getting open. And that's true.
That's right.
That's probably true. Like it's probably not fair to just say Dylan's holding on to it too long.
No, and you know what? And Holgerson sometimes makes a bad call. Like it's everything. Like Holgerson's not immune from a bad call in a bad situation, right? The O-line isn't protecting good enough. We're not,
obviously Dylan has his shortcomings.
Dylan's got to get rid of the ball faster. So faster decision making, getting the ball out. And then sometimes Dylan's also got to, he's got to know when and how to scramble and not take those sacks and get the ball out. Like sometimes a win is don't take the sack and throw it away.
Yes.
So I think right now he's taking too many sacks, not that he has to get away every time, but sometimes you got to escape just enough to get the ball thrown away.
Totally agree. And so I'm not as interested when I say sacks given up. I'm not as interested as we just sent the O-line home a second ago, but like, I don't necessarily, it doesn't matter to me in all reality who it's really on. It just has to get better.
Correct. I don't care. It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Holgerson needs to call plays that don't lead themselves to in a sack situation where it's like, all right. It's 3rd and 8 and we're in field goal range and a sack takes us out. Like, don't call something that's going to allow him to get sacked. Like max protect or do something like.
Well, the other thing Holgerson talked about was that because they were getting sacked, they were behind the chains, which then they had to throw more, which led to more obvious passing situation. So like it's also about staying on schedule too.
How do you stay on schedule? Which, right, Holgerson, keep us on schedule with like a run or something to get the ball out of his hands, or hand it to somebody.
Agree.
On first down. That's sort of where I just felt like we got off kilter with everything the last week or two, with just like even play calling and like.
Couldn't agree more.
I don't know. It felt off to me.
Couldn't agree more. So sacks given up. Next storyline. I just wrote down concerns validated. There are times you go into a season and you go, where's the team going to be good? Where are they going to struggle? And you whiff, right? You're like, man, I thought they were going to be good at this and they're not, and whatever. Heading into the season, the concerns were Nebraska's rush offense, Emmett Johnson, is he a number one guy and who's behind him? And then rush defense, after being top 10 in the country in rush D for 2 years, no tie, no polar bear. What does it look like? Well, so far, both those concerns have been validated. Rush offense, Nebraska is 105th in the country in rushing. What's amazing about that is Emmett's 3rd in the Big Ten, though.
Emmett has played to his potential. Like that's what I think I love about him is like, I think he's maximizing. He's maximizing, right? So I love that he has done that. I guess on that same note, Nick, the other assumption was the O-line is great. Like it was almost like it was an overconfidence in our O-line.
Yeah, you're
going
right.
Into the season where, maybe we were correct in the front 7 on defense against the run, we're concerned. Maybe that's justified, but we were unjustified. Me and you weren't, but I think others were in how hyped they were for the O-line.
You're so right. The concerns about Nebraska's ability to run the ball centered around the running backs, not necessarily the offensive line.
It was assumed the O-line
will be fine. And I mean, I remember in the offseason, Rocco Spindler said that he was saying that the offensive line is going to win is it the Joe Moore Award, where the best offensive line in the country? It's like stuff like that. It's just like,
but it's also, they're saying we're 8 deep or something, sometimes like, it's another thing. Like you gotta be 5 deep before you're 8 deep, like right. show me 5.
Right.
And I know. Well, I don't, that's why I hate those narratives. And I know we talk too much about what was said versus what it is, but it's hard not to in our world. It's like, that's a lot of what we're going on. Right?
You're just consuming what is being told to you throughout the spring and the summer and media days and all that. And I think it wouldn't be as big of a deal if some people wouldn't take those comments, use them as gospel and run with them and blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah.
But Emmett Johnson, Emmett Johnson has 84 carries, 474 yards. He's averaging 5.6 yards per carry, and he has 7 touchdowns. Like through 5 games, that's not bad. What's amazing is just Ives has the second most carries at 16. Nelson has 10. So between your second and third running backs have a combined 26 carries. Your number one guy is 84 carries. Like there's just such a dramatic drop off.
And sadly, I think the right thing to do for the time being is we just got to keep riding Emmett. Like as much as like, the new trend is don't put too much tread in any tire, like on the tires of these running backs. You got to spread the carries, 2 or 3 running backs, spread them all out. I just think this has to be a little bit more of an old school mentality. Like until Mosey's ready, until Mekhi Nelson's ready, Emmett's going to have to take a lot of carries and a lot of catches too. Like the offense works really well. I feel like when it goes through him in the sense of, I feel like we're under control and we're under, we stay on track when it goes through him. When we just take to just getting away from Emmett, I feel like we put too much pressure on the O-line to protect
and all that. Yes. And like you said, Nelson and those guys just like, they're not quite there yet. They're not.
And so I feel like Emmett's just going to have to take the load and this is his season. Like, I mean, this is his season. He's going to have to be the guy that just takes a lot of carries, a lot of touches. And like I said, I like our offense when it kind of goes through him.
I agree. It's amazing when you pull like the season stats and you see it on a document of like just 84 carries, second most. I have 16. How
many catches does Emmett have? Does it say?
Emmett Johnson has 22 catches, second on the team.
Yeah, I mean he's got 100 touches so far through 5 games. I mean this is a high volume year.
Yeah, no question. But so against power conference teams, ran for 110 against Cincinnati, 43 against Michigan, 88 against Michigan State. So against power conference opponents, Nebraska's averaging 80 yards per game running the football.
That's just not going to be good.
That's got to get better. The rush defense, Nebraska's 91st in the country in rush defense. Gave up, and I'm sorry that I don't mean to do this, but like I had the Akron and the Houston Christian games. Not that I tip my cap to them for taking care of business, but like I'm looking at Cincinnati, Michigan, Michigan State. Cincinnati ran for 202. Michigan ran for 290. Michigan State ran for 86. So they're giving up 192 yards per game on the ground to 3 power conference opponents. Like both those stats got to get better. They just absolutely do.
Yeah.
Next storyline. And it's an interesting conversation to have. I wrote down Dylan Raiola still bizarrely polarizing. It's just he gets criticized a little bit nationally. I wouldn't say he's unanimously loved locally. We talked about some of the sacks on Dylan Raiola, or all that. Is he holding him out? Whatever. You would think that Dylan Raiola would just be like an uber popular mega superstar amongst the fans that is widely beloved with Husker Nation, that hasn't kind of been to that degree in decades. And it just doesn't quite feel like that. He's the son of a former Husker that is a legend. You and I have so many conversations even on and off air about Dylan. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And it's an era where people are getting paid a lot of money, which I wish it didn't factor into things, but I'm sure it does. Right. Same thing with Pritchett. Like Pritchett's like, it seems like a good kid and he's got a ton of talent. He's developing, but when you find out he's making $1 million or something like that, that's what it makes fans of all ages feel differently. Right. So I don't know that that's fair to the kids. It's just, that's how it is today. Right.
Right.
It's sort of the maybe unfair reality of when money comes into it, the attitudes change, right? It's more professionalized, right? So it's the same way, a big time quarterback in the NFL is going to get more criticism than just like, some kid from some local kid that's got to be the starting quarterback in Nebraska on it's called scholarship, right?
Yes.
It's just you just treat it a little bit differently. So I think Dylan's thing to me is he's doing so much for this program. He's doing so much right that I don't really, to me, I don't want to criticize him, but I do understand though, like the difference is he's making a lot of money.
Yeah. And maybe it's just simple as that.
He's got a lot of money. It's a very like, he's got the brand, he's got all the things that people are like, okay, like it makes him feel a little different.
Well, and I think we can't, and this is, I can only speak for myself, but I know that I'm not alone in this sentiment. He probably showed up with just an unrealistic bar to clear.
No doubt.
He came here as not only, 5-star number one quarterback in the country, but he came in, everybody thought this is going to be the guy that is going to save everything.
It's too much. Probably,
so I think the reality is, I mean, I don't think this feels fair. Like, from what everybody was hoping he would be, I don't think he's met that yet. At the same time, he's what would he be? So 13, he's 18 games into his college career. Yeah. I mean, he's a sophomore, 5 games into his sophomore year. So I don't know if there's some anxiety met with, like, that he's not necessarily looking the way everybody was hoping he would look right away. But at the same time, that comes with, like, this idea that he's not been good, which he's been good.
He's been good. And I think if we keep winning, I think some of the criticism will start dying down, and more of the, like, I deserve praise will start coming in. I mean, look at, this isn't unique to Dylan. Like, Arch Manning at Texas, like, the expectations were too high, right? Yeah. It's just too high. Like, if he doesn't have the name and he doesn't have all the money, it's like, I just don't think it would be as extreme. I feel like it gets extreme when you have the name and you get the hype and the expectations tied to you. And that's none of his doing, right? Like, it's just the nature of the moment, and, the hype machine around these young players coming in.
Yeah. It's just, again, on paper, you would think, like, oh, is Dylan just the most, I mean, he's the most popular guy on the team by nature of just kind of being,
no doubt he is.
But I don't think he's like, he's more polarizing than you would think.
That's the right word. I think he's more polarizing, but he's still very much loved.
He's still the most popular guy on the team.
Kids everywhere around the state are wearing Dylan Raiola. Like, he's very liked. It's just like this, people have strong opinions on
yes.
It, right.
Do you think, speaking of strong opinions, I mean, Sam McEwen basically asked a question to Rule, but, like, would you like to see Dylan let it rip more? Like, not hold on to the ball and take some more shots down the field, be a little bit more aggressive.
I think we all would, right? I think we'd all like to see that arm, like, firing, but, I will protect the ball over anything right now. So he's done a good job. Yeah, he's done a good job for the most part of, like, taking what the defense gives him and protecting the ball. I just want to see him take less sacks, continue to protect the ball. I think those two things with good special teams leads to us winning games.
Yes.
So he needs to just keep winning. And even if it doesn't always look super pretty, if he wins, Nick, it all will work out.
Totally agree. I think
the Dylan story will be a beautiful story.
You know what's interesting is, I can't remember every interception from last year, so I don't, forgive me if I'm omitting a few. Almost all of his interceptions didn't see a guy.
Yeah.
You very rarely is it like he's taking a shot or trying to squeeze one in there, and the DB just won that battle and got an interception.
Not really from overthrows.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of his are like, he didn't see a guy drop in. He didn't see a guy underneath. Yeah. He didn't, like,
that's probably right. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying I want interceptions, but, like, you send a deep post to Key, and the Maryland safety it's one-on-one Key and the safety just makes the play. Like, those are the kinds of interceptions that are, like,
those are my favorite. It's like a punt.
It is. You're like, I want to see more of that. But I do think I'm with you. It's good that at least he isn't turning the ball over a lot, but I would like to see him get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
but,
like you're saying, an aggressive quote unquote interception versus, like, the ones he's had have just been, like,
just didn't see a guy, made a bad read,
like a bad interception,
just a bad read.
Yeah.
But so that's the next storyline. Is just, like, Dylan Raiola still bizarrely polarizing, which is it's just interesting to me.
The final thing I'll say is, I just think it comes with the territory.
It probably does. I mean, that's the nature of the position, and the nature of when you're getting paid that much money, and you're at a program that is so desperate to get back, and you're a huge part of that. Probably true. The next storyline is the pass defense being this good. Number one pass defense in the country through 5 games. I think going into the year, we all knew that the most known commodities were those defensive backs. They had the most experience. It had Hartzog, Buford, Singleton, Sierra Wright, all the like a lot of guys that have played a lot of football. But I didn't necessarily think like this was going to be like one of the most elite units in the country. I mean, keep in mind, I felt like that group took a little bit of a step back last year.
Yeah.
So, but man, Sierra Wright, Andrew Marshall, Singleton, those guys have been, the proof's in the pudding with the numbers. They've been really, really good.
Yeah. So
I didn't expect it to be number one in the country pass defense.
No, that's hard to, of all the things we were hyped about, I don't know that was like, that leapt off the page like that, like number one in the country. Like, it's impressive. And there is some sort of, I would almost call it like a chemistry between Butler and each of the players all together. They have a nice, something's going on there that's very positive. I'd love to kind of get in there and figure out exactly what it is, but it feels like it's all working together, and
totally
it's the strength of our defense.
Next storyline is we've seen mental toughness signs, which is something that has eluded this program for a long time.
I see mentally tough
I see mental toughness signs. Made a play at the end of the Cincinnati game when they were melting. Remember the play right before Hartzog intercepted it? It was 4th and 10, and he got called for pass interference that kept the drive alive. Like, go back and watch the end of that Cincinnati game. Nebraska was completely melting.
Yeah.
Remember, Sorsby, they just rammed the ball down Nebraska's throat. Then the offense, I think, maybe held the ball for 3 or 4 minutes, punted it back. They were coming down the field. Like, they were melting, and then they make a play. They got down 10 twice against Michigan and fought back. They had an atrocious second and third quarter against Michigan State, win that game by double digits. And then they TCB'd. They took care of business against Akron and Houston Christian to the degree where they had a shutout against Akron. And against both those teams, you were getting backups like a whole quarter of football. All those things are some mental toughness that has felt like it's not been there for years, which I think is fantastic to see as well.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Do you think, is this the last storyline? Breakout star maybe doesn't sound right, but I wrote down Corey Barney feels like the breakout star of the season so far. It's hard because he had a good freshman year, so I don't want to make it sound like breakout sounds like he went from no one knows who he is to nothing, but like he's really, really having a good year.
Well, what's weird is I feel like there's moments where I'm like, I'm trying to feel Barney out, but then he keeps making plays. So like maybe he is that guy. I think I'm right on the cusp. I don't think I'm quite there yet with him on that, but I feel like the punt return yards, on top of now he's made 2 enormous plays, which is the Hail Mary catch and the
3rd and 10, 45-yarder.
Right.
Yep.
So that to me is putting him up there to be like, wow, this guy's like, yeah, he's almost a star. But I feel like I'm Nick, I'm almost there. I just need to see a little bit more consistency, and I think he'll be there.
You know what's weird is I write it down. Here are the numbers. Leads team in receptions with 23. Has 348 receiving yards. Leads team. Has 192 punt return yards. He's second on team with 3 touchdowns. I label him the breakout star of the season. You know what's weird is he kind of always leaves me wanting a little more. And I don't know I don't know if I'm like too, for some reason, we all have these people, and I'm sure coaches have it with players, like you're a little harder on certain people than others. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I'm a believer in him.
Agree. That's why.
I think that's what it is. I always am like, I want a little more from you.
I think he's got more. He's got more. And that's why I'm withholding my
breakout star.
Because I don't think we've seen his best yet. So until I see your best, I think I just view you a little differently. Like, I think he's trying to find, he's very confident. He's got the swag that is it's infectious it's good for the team.
Yep.
His confidence is good for our team, and his willingness to want to make a play. And that's a big deal. We need more guys like him. I think he's starting to make some of those plays that change the game and the season. So a little bit more consistency and just a little bit more that I think he's got. I think that would be like, okay, he's a star for us.
Can I ask you, okay, that's the end of the story.
Before you're called a star, I got to feel it.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I got to be like, you are a star.
I should have said breakout player or something like that. Star is not that. But
star's fair, but you got to feel it if it's a star.
I know. Well, so I have two questions for you preview Nebraska and Maryland. They're both kind of like very simple. Who's the best player on the team? Not named Dylan. If you would say Dylan, right?
So Dylan's the best player on our team.
Who's the best player on the team? I don't know.
I don't think I have a strong enough opinion about anybody in the O-line. Not quite there with like a D-line member, Sierra Wright or Emmett Johnson, probably.
That's what I would have wrote down. I wrote down Emmett, Singleton, and Sierra Johnson and Sierra Wright.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting when you think about it in that way. Like,
that's not like scary talent.
No. Well, and it's just that it's not. You're kind of throwing candidates out there where like, you're like, Key? You're like, yeah, okay.
There's no separation. Really,
that's it. Yeah, there's nobody that has just really emerged. I don't mean it's just an interesting thought where you're like, seems 4-1. You feel like they could win 8 or 9 games, maybe. And if we sit here and go, who's the best player on the team? It's kind of like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, you go back to pick a year and you go, who's the best player on the team?
Boom.
It's like Rex
Amir.
Burkhead or Amir or Randy Gregory. And they were separators. Like, it was a clear separation from everybody else. It's good to have a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
They're just like, God, we've got like, I don't know, you go to the Chiefs, we got Mahomes. Who besides Mahomes? Like, well, Chris Jones is a freaking monster.
Right.
He is a grizzly bear. Like, if you got to have a couple of those guys that are so good that it's just like, oh, of course not, right? We don't even have to question that. So I think that's where we are lacking just a handful of
like
elite,
guys that have really like,
and you got to be an elite athlete and you know, with the skills. I just don't know. Like, I bet you in 2 years we might be able to say like a guy like Nwaneri.
It's like,
you know,
Dylan or
see
if Jacory's still around. You know,
like that's where it hasn't separated. Like, who's the best non-quarterback on the team, right?
Okay, here's my next simple question. What side of the ball is better, the Nebraska's offense or Nebraska's defense?
I think until this week, we would have clearly said offense, and then all of a sudden we're
all of a sudden I'm a little like, are we sure?
I still am going to go with the offense because we scored 38 points in our worst game of the year.
Yeah. So
I'll go offense, but I feel like the defense is trending up and the offense is trending down.
I agree. I just look at, and I keep on doing this, and I'm sure people are getting annoyed with me that I'm like, if you just look at the 3 power conference games, it's not like, you know, Cincinnati, they scored 20 points, and I wouldn't say that offense looked amazing. Against Michigan, they had 27, but I wouldn't say the offense looked amazing. And then, they scored 38, but I wouldn't say the offense looked amazing. So, but I still would say, give me Holgerson, Dylan, Emmett, and the weapons, and just be like, I'm going to trust that combination.
Yeah, our interior defensive line is just not quite there yet. McCullough and Nwaneri are coming on right now.
Agree.
And then you got the strength of if the D line and the linebackers find a little bit more, I think it's going to be, we can say this is a defensive team at some point. Like, if they find it, I think overall they're more talented than the offense maybe, but I don't know. It's hard right now because the offense is starting to show some signs of struggle with just protecting
and just being able to actually run the ball and all those kinds of things. And I do think there's something to like what players, when they do something, does it look different? And to me, the two guys, when Deshaun McCullough and Nwaneri do something, it just looks different than everybody else on the field. Those to me are the two guys that rise above. But I all of a sudden was like, as I was getting ready for this pod, I thought of those questions. I'm like, those are very like, what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
You're like, who's the best player on the team? You're like, I don't know. What is Nebraska's offense better or their defense better? You're like, I don't know. I ask everybody listening right now, what do you guys think? I don't. It's
the thing that's unique about the offense defense is I think that it can change throughout a season.
Yeah,
and it is changing right now in some ways. So
I still think I would say if I had to submit, I would say Sierra Wright and Nebraska's offense.
Yeah,
that would be my answers.
Yeah.
Okay. Nebraska, Maryland. Well, let's look at what it is right now. So the spread opened at 5.5. It got out to Nebraska is favored by 6.5 right now. The total is 48.5. As we are taping it at this very moment, it's still 6.5.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I mean, well, what's amazing was that Nebraska was third by the time Toe met leather on Saturday against Michigan State, Nebraska was favored by 13.5 against the Spartans, which just seems, I was talking to one of our mutual friends last night and we were both like, man, some of these spreads, maybe we are just, we were saying it actually obviously maybe gives us confidence in this team that clearly Vegas thinks Nebraska's pretty good.
Vegas is they're pretty good at what they do. They really are. So,
but 13, they were almost favored by 2 touchdowns against Michigan State. That seemed crazy. And they almost covered.
I know.
And then they're favored by almost a touchdown here. So Maryland, their wins are Florida Atlantic, Northern Illinois, Towson, and then at Wisconsin. Their one loss is to Washington. They led 20-0 against Washington in the second half. And that was I'm not sure if you watched any of that game or watched
that game at all.
They settled for 2 field goals inside the 15-yard line.
Ooh,
so there's a world where that thing was almost night by the time the third quarter came around. Yeah. And they hammered Wisconsin in Madison. It ended up 27-10, but they controlled that whole game. Maryland's defense has been really good. They're number 1 in the Big Ten in sacks. Gulp.
I saw that and I go, that was the big one that jumped out. I go, they're number 1 in sacks. Okay, it's actually it's going to be a great test for us.
Yes,
to go on the road against the Big Ten conference leader in sacks and just see what we're made of, right? Like this is it. Like we're going to find out a lot.
Yeah, they're 4th nationally in sacks, number 1 in the Big Ten, 5th in the Big Ten in TFLs, and they lead the Big Ten in interceptions at 9, and they're 11th in scoring defense.
Yeah.
So their defense has been very impressive so far. They have a true freshman quarterback in Malik Washington, who's a good player, man. 60% completion percentage. He's thrown for 1,257 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Throws a pretty ball. He also has rushed for 3 touchdowns. When they get near the goal, like he can move. He's a pretty athletic guy.
What would you do against us? I mean, we've shown that
right.
Quarterback run game is right now is our bugaboo.
It's just 100%.
Even more than that, just like the QB scramble game is our bugaboo. I think we struggle to corral quarterbacks when it's sort of like less zone read and a little bit more just like they're spreading it out and he's going to scramble.
Right.
We just, for some reason, our pass rushers, they're struggling right now to find their legs in those moments.
Agree. And they don't necessarily run Washington a ton, but he's capable. But it is interesting. I mean, Nebraska, they've seen Sorsby, Underwood, Childs. Like that's 3 of their 5 teams they've played have had like what you would deem as like athletic, good running QBs. And now they're about to see another one in Malik Washington. They're not a very good running team. They're in the bottom 7 or 8 in the country in rushing, only 93 rushing yards per game. I always, and you can overdo this, but I always worry about, even if you've done it, even by the time you were a junior and a senior, that first road game is just different. It just is.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes now I know they played in Arrowhead and that a part of the road is just like the different, and I know it's still a football field and it's 100 yards and all that, but like, it's just, the environment's different, and then obviously not having the crowd behind you is going to be different. Not that Maryland's going to be a hornet's nest, but are you concerned about that element at all? The fact that it's the first road game, or are you not going to?
Every team has their own unique character, and certain teams are great at home, terrible on the road. And occasionally you actually find it's weird. I think in the NBA it gets really strange. Like some teams are way better on the road than they're home. But I do think you'll find out if you've got a team that's good on the road. Because I don't ever think in football there's like this team is terrible at home and great in the road. Like that's less, but there is a world where you just aren't a good road team.
Right.
But we just don't know that yet about our team. We're going to find out what their road character is. Like I don't know about you. I personally loved to play at other stadiums. It gave me extra energy that like you had to show up. I always loved like when fans are against you. I didn't need fans to be. I loved that. I couldn't agree more. I know this sounds weird. Like I almost like preferred to play on the road. I found it. I liked the hostile, energy from the crowd against you. Yes. I enjoyed that. I also found it easier to focus. Like, and this is where it's different because like you have a game on a Tuesday night when you're playing at Creighton, like you're going to class. Yeah.
And you're in your dorm and you're walking around it's just you're worrying about tickets. Oh man, can I get two extra tickets? Okay, I got to Bo Ruud is coming and Bear Ruud are coming. Yeah. But all that stuff on the road, to me, it was like the game, the hotel, sleep, that's it. And then
taking on everybody,
and taking on the crowd.
I always think that the competitors real competitors actually love that.
I always, the question of it, like, would you rather make the crowd roar or silence a crowd? Like silencing a crowd was the best to me.
Oh man,
it's so great. I know, like I kind of like hotels too. Like I'm a hotel guy. Like I everything about the road. I really like going on the road. But with this game, I mean, I'm worried. Obviously, you worry about
the robes, don't you? If they got a robe,
I'm putting the robe on. I try to like. It's there for a reason. Let's try it on. Let's see what it is. The slippers are usually like made for like my 5-year-old. They're like, I mean, come on. I'm not like Shaq, but like, let's get some bigger slippers here. I'm worried about the sacks.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the sacks. I'm worried about Nebraska's run game.
I think we bought ourselves a week. Sorry, I didn't know it was a week. We bought ourselves opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It went from desperation if we lose that game to opportunity.
Yeah,
that's what the Michigan State win
beating Michigan State. Yeah, you're right.
Michigan State gave this week another chance to be like, we have opportunity. We have no game's going to be easy, but I also don't think this game is Ohio State where you're like, it's going to be a miracle to win this game. We have a couple games in front of us that we can win if we play our best football. And then we're going to be a winning program going, we can get to 7 wins or 8 wins if we play good football in the stretch. We gave ourselves an opportunity by beating Michigan State. It would have been a desperation game this week. If we lose that game, it would feel like we don't beat Maryland. The season's over. Matt Rule era is,
yes,
a sinking ship.
You're so right. It makes think about the tenor and tone of our conversation had Nebraska lost that game to Michigan State. This Maryland game would feel like the Super Bowl.
It feels life or death, and that's why they should take this as such an opportunity. It's such an opportunity. They earned it.
Right.
They've earned the opportunity to go out, play fast and loose to win a game because you don't have the weight of the world that you got to win. Like you don't have it on you this week. You got to think about that. Some weeks we talk about it. You need to acknowledge it when like, oh, it's the other way. We don't got any pressure on us. It's like, go play, go win.
Agree. I think Nebraska is going to win, and here's why. I think it was easy against Michigan with the pass protection stuff just to go, I mean, it's Michigan. Yeah. Like they got Secretariat over here, and they got, they got just these horses are another planet. It was easy to go kind of like chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
That here comes a team that had been terrible rushing the passer, and they sack you 5 times. So I think now everybody on that side of the ball are going to be fully locked in on protecting the passer, Dylan getting the ball out, I just think everything's going to be a little sharper and crisper. Even Holgorsen understanding how to call plays with that in mind, because I think the Michigan State game probably made him go, we need to address this.
2 weeks in a row of Dylan getting
crushed.
And, and even like all those times when he had guys in his face and he couldn't, we just couldn't get the ball off sometimes too. So he was getting sacked, but we also couldn't execute our short, even the beaters, you got to run screens and quick plays. Like we weren't doing a good job of executing those plays either. So they really now have a couple of weeks that they've gotten to see themselves, and hopefully get to correct themselves off those mistakes.
So I think they'll be, not saying that, I think they're going to be more ready to go to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then Maryland's not a very good running team. I think they're going to have to pass the ball. And I'll take Nebraska's pass defense and John Butler versus a true freshman quarterback I'll take Nebraska in that.
It's battle. Like their D line versus our O line and our DBs versus their offense.
Like I'll just
that's sort of that's the game.
That's the game. And I just think I'm going to side with Nebraska in that game.
Vegas thinks that's the case too. I would say I would. I think Nebraska's going to win, but we can't play our B game and win this. Like we have to play.
Yeah, they got to go play well.
B+, A-, A ball. Like you can't play your B-, right? You got to play good football.
And I'm assuming that special teams will be at least solid, at least competent, So I think, and I just think Holgorsen will find a way to get to 27 points. Like he just finds a way to get to 27 points. So I think they win 27-21, 24-21, somewhere in that area. I think it'll be a close game. But I think Nebraska's going to win. But it's a great point in I hadn't thought about it in beating Michigan State just makes this game totally just
the weight of the world.
The weight of the world's off you a little bit. Not to say that you'd be like, you can hit this ball out of bounds and you're okay. No, I'm not saying that, but I think we all understand just the
one less thing to be worried about. You just get to go play the game, right? It really feels like it's like a clean slate for them.
Agree.
Because they're 4-1. Like if you're feeling good, the program's it's like the momentum's on our side. It's not against us.
We'll wrap it up with this because I was thinking about, doing the whole, when I was talking about Raiola and popularity and all that stuff, most popular Husker football players post Bo Ruud, because I would have
you're
Bo
biased,
Ruud,
Nick. You're a little biased.
Give me Andy Sand. Give me,
you're a little biased.
I'm a little biased for those. So post 2007,
Sue is the number
one. Who is it Rex or Amir at 2?
Oh, Rex has the, it's probably Rex.
It's
close. And then I don't know.
But then 4, I wrote down, here are the names I wrote down. I wrote down Kenny Bell. Kenny was very popular. Kenny was beloved. I wrote down Randy Gregory. I wrote down Westerkamp. Nate Gary.
I'd say Adrian Martinez.
Was the next guy. That's what's crazy is I would honestly say who's more popular, Dylan or Adrian Martinez? And I'm I think Adrian Martinez was maybe a little more popular.
His freshman year.
Year for sure.
I would say Adrian's popularity after his sophomore year, because the Luke McCaffrey started playing over him.
True, and it became definition of insane. You got to change it up. They just wanted to change.
We forget that the Martinez thing was not as sunshine as we remember.
Sue Rex Amir. Are we forgetting?
DPE.
DeMornay Pearsonell had a stretch that was because we love punt returners here. Yeah, because of Johnny the Jet and everything.
He had a stretch.
But then you think,
Prince. Prince had a
Prince, Dennard, Haig, Crick was very popular. You know what's weird? We've talked about this. It is bizarre. Will Compton was not the most popular Husker. And now he is literally on ESPN with Mike Greenberg, and he is the media face of Nebraska football. It's just weird.
We've talked about this. He did such a good job of, while he was an NFL player, you have a window, because he wasn't like a star in the NFL. He's just a guy in the NFL, right? But he did such a good job of capitalizing on that moment.
Yes.
He was in the NFL.
Right. You are on a roster.
You start the busting with the boys with another current NFL player.
Yes.
You got the juice still.
Yep.
If they wait 1 week after they all retire, they don't got the juice anymore. They did it. They got the guests. They got the show going. And they are media guys. They go for it, right? They're doing everything. So
no doubt.
I'll give them credit. But yeah, I mean, at Nebraska, he wasn't the media guy.
I've told this story. I don't know if I told it on the pod, but there was a Fox behind the scenes guy that, I was talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, so you're from Nebraska? Like, was Will, what was Will Compton just?" He was asking me a million Will Compton questions when he was playing. Like, was Will just the man? And I was like, not really.
But he played with Levante, and so Levante was the guy, right? And I just think you never got to he just never was that guy here.
I'm not saying if Will were to listen, I'm not saying Will Compton, people didn't like Will. I'm just saying Will Compton wasn't. He wasn't Rex, and he was. It's just interesting when you contrast his popularity after playing at Nebraska is exponentially higher than when it was when he was playing at Nebraska. And usually those things are either one guy was a mega star when they were at Nebraska, and they're a mega star after Nebraska. It's usually not. It's usually the other way.
His is actually not from his playing days. It's from his podcast.
Yes.
He is the Nebraska, he gets to be the face of Nebraska because he's a podcaster. It's not because he's a football player, actually.
It's amazing. It's just, it's unique, because if some fans of Will Compton that are just fans of Bussin' with the Boys, and they live in Phoenix, Arizona, they have nothing, they don't really love Nebraska, they would listen to this and go, "You guys serious? How is Will Compton not number one?" It's like, well, I'm more looking at this when they played. If we're writing this now, who's the most popular? You probably have to say Will Compton's number one.
Yeah, I would say it is. That's right. So that's what he's done so well, is he just became that guy.
He became the dude. He's good in the media. So I have been from afar just fascinated with his rise.
Yeah.
And just knowing, I was doing the daily talk show in Omaha in 1620 during that time. he was a starter on the team that was a solid player that didn't necessarily get talked about.
You never talk. When you were doing the radio, you just weren't
I wasn't. Let's have a Will Compton conversation, because it's going to elicit a lot of reaction.
Because part of the radio, I remember you used to say this. He goes you always play the hits. You give the people what they want. You play the hits,
right?
As part of a 3-hour radio show. So you talked about everything.
So you're going to play it. You're going to talk about the topics that are going to get the most.
Yeah.
Just like right now, all the radio shows in Nebraska are going to talk Dylan. They're going to talk, they're going to talk about those guys. They're not going to talk about, Marquise Watson Trent and whether or not he's going to be on the field again.
No, but he's more like a Wright or a Singleton or somebody.
The guy played in the NFL, so it's he's
an NFL player.
He's an NFL football player.
He was good. I used to like him. I go, Compton's a good player. I always liked his game. But what we're talking about is popularity at the time. Moment. At the time, it was not even
Kenny Bell and Levante David were way more popular amongst the fans on that team than
there's only
Will
a
Compton
couple,
was.
right? There's usually only a couple per team that are the popular people with the fans, and that's just how it works. And so doesn't say anything against your game.
No.
It just is that's what's fascinating though, is
right.
He's almost rewritten the narrative.
It's really,
because he is the guy now.
And I'm impressed with it, because it's just, he did it with grit, hard work. And then what's amazing though is, I guess here's the better way, and we'll wrap it up with this. The better way to frame it is, I didn't necessarily think when Will Compton was playing here that he had a huge personality.
He is a persona now, which, you're right. You didn't know it when he was there.
So what's amazing is he had this amazing, charismatic, funny, I think he's self-deprecating, which I like a lot. He's willing to kind of make fun of himself. he had all those qualities, and you had no idea.
Sometimes in life, it's got to be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
And I don't think that was his time. He was a guy that going through the NFL, he found his time when, like I said, at the end of his NFL career, he saw the future. He went into the podcasting world before everybody. That's kind of when we started going into it. It was not the norm as it is even 5-6 years later. But Compton saw the future, took a chance while he was in. That was the big risk he made, and it was a wildly successful move that he made while he was playing.
It's amazing.
Great move.
It is amazing. So if we were doing it, how popularity now, Will Compton's number 1, but if we're doing it when they played, like I don't think he's in the top.
I don't know if he makes the
10.
top 5 in his team.
Yeah, like which is wild, you know. Absolutely wild. Okay, you got Nebraska winning. I got Nebraska winning. Make sure we will be back here for the recap pod. This is going to be a fascinating game. The next 2 weeks are going to be really interesting. Maryland and then at Minnesota are going to be very, very fun. But I just got a text. The stretch limo is here. They want to sit.
Let's go in the stretch.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.